Hello, hello.
Hi.
I didn't know we were doing that.
I
Wow.
had a plan up my sleeve.
You had a plan up your sleeve that whole time. Wow. You just had to steal the show. Hand it up. Scheming, conniving. Hello, happy Sunday, and welcome to the Dead Dodge Garage Sunday streaming special
With Creepy Cat.
featuring Creepy Cat and Ava. Exactly how I feel. Also a dog. There's a dog.
And on one side.
You're like the little angel and devil on my shoulders.
Wait, doggy, doggy,
Oh, yeah.
doggy, doggy. Get doggy.
Oh.
Doggy.
Here, doggy dog.
Oh. Squeeze.
Oh, no, he doesn't. He hates it. He hates it completely. Charlie did it last week.
Really?
Yeah. Doggy Dog doesn't want any part of this. All right, well, we better start the show. Are we starting the show?
Yes!
Hey, you don't need to be so loud. They can hear you. How many people are there? What does that say? 13 people. It was out of control. Anyway, everybody's here. Gang's all here. Big Wrench is here. Epic. How was our weekend? Yeah. Well, we did go get brunch. That was cool. Scooter says howdy. Dan says howdy. Hey, guys. Bob says woo!
Okay, I'm gonna go watch this live stream.
Okay, take the dog with you.
Okay, doggy, come
on,
on.
doggy.
Doggy.
Go on, get.
Doggy. Doggy.
Oh my god.
Doggy.
All right, whatever. He's fine.
Okay, bye, doggy.
Okay, Bobby. No, he's coming with you. Creepy Cat. DB says hello from Texas. Hello from Washington. Lovejoy is here. Lovejoy, I can't express to you how excited I was. I know it's like one of those bittersweet things. I think it was your brother graduating, and your mom posted it about, your dad's in the hospital. That sucks. Lovejoy's dad got wrecked on a motorcycle and multiple surgeries and all that later. He's in a pretty rough spot. So I wish him a speedy recovery. But your mom posted about your brother graduating and everything. And there in the background was a Dead Dodge Garage hat on your head. So that was a really good moment for me. Not under the best of circumstances, obviously, but I was excited nonetheless. Brent Forte is here and says, "What's good?" I don't know, dog. What's good with you? Not much. God, I spent like 4 hours yesterday trying to make my 64 Power Wagon not be seized. And it's really annoying. Like I get it to like go further and further and further, but it's just binding up, and I'm pretty sure it's rust in a cylinder, but I even put a camera down the damn thing and I don't see it. So I'm just soaking it again. But yeah, I spent hours yesterday, and somehow I put a hole in the radiator. And if anyone knows me really well, they know Swept-Line radiators around here. There are now 3.5 trucks, and none of them have a good radiator. So that sucks. Anyway, other than that, all's well, I guess. Working on Dodges, hanging out with family, playing music. Bob Figuello, I believe, wants to know, or Fidgeo, perhaps? Not sure. Anyway, wants to know, does adding diesel fuel to today's gasoline help with vapor lock? I don't know. I don't think so. You probably shouldn't do that. There are other ways to deal with that problem. Just go watch Uncle Tony's videos on it. Stacy is here and says, just a quick hello before getting on the road for a 3-hour drive home tonight. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good drive, Stacy. Oh, which reminds me, I am finally wearing a More Bad Than Car shirt. The 6th More Bad Than Car shirt ever printed. The other 5 are with Jorge and his family. And Stacy's going to be getting the 7th. So that's cool. And I'm getting an intake, which is really exciting. Also, Canadian delicacies. Rod Hendricks is here with us again and says hello from a town in Missouri that I still can't pronounce. I want to call it LaQuay, but I don't know. How's it going? It's going pretty good. It is not bad. Kind of okay. Ross says, dressed. Cool. I'm also dressed, but I kind of have to be. I'm on camera. Morgana Figueroa? Figueroa? Yes, what?
Did you read one of the comments where it's how's it going?
How's it going?
I mean, how is it? I don't know.
I haven't seen it yet. I don't think it actually went through. If it goes through, then I'll say how it's going. Someone's really into live streaming all of a sudden. Morgana wants to know, did the green monster make it one piece? Which one's the green monster? Oh, the is it green? I feel like it's teal. Anyway, it's still in one piece, yes. Not running yet. Luke Tichinella is here for the show. Woo! This is it. This is the show. You're here for it. Tyler C says, hello, Jamie and DDG crew. And by DDG crew, I can only assume Tyler means Ava and my dog. Somewhat Fast is here with us and says, hello, Dead Dodge Garage. Hello, Somewhat Fast. That's a good channel name. I like that. Christopher's here and says, hello from SoCal. Hello. Bet it's warmer there than it is here. Lovejoy says, yes, my brother graduated. I wear this hat every day. Thanks for your commitment, Lovejoy. I very much appreciate that. I wear this one every day now. What up? Finally posted Gen 3 Hemi 70 CUDA. Duck. Ross says rusty spot in the timing chain. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Somewhat Fast says buy it. Oh. I hadn't thought of that. There was one rocker that was seized. The valve was fine. Every valve moves free, no problem. I already pulled the covers. I already thought that, because it feels like it's just binding straight. Yeah, and I squirted down all the cylinders. I got it moving some. That's a good one. Could I check that without? I could pull the fuel pump. I'll pull the fuel pump and put a camera in there. Yeah, good thinking. Yeah, it had weird valve train rust, but again, the valves were fine. When it was doing that, it felt like it was just coming up solid. So I kind of thought, okay, valves rusted in the guide or something. It'll go that far. But it's only like easy moving this much, and then here it's difficult, but you can get it to go, and then it just stops. And same this way. It really felt like a ring scraping through rust to me, and I've been just again prying it back and forth. I've got the guard off now, big pry bar, and it's kind of working it. But yeah, that's a good one. Hadn't thought of that. I will check that. Never seen that before. Somewhat Fast says buy a China aluminum radiator. I can do one better than that, and I'm going to pull it out anyway, probably, because I might have to take the top end off, and I'm going to get into the one that broke, pinch it off, and solder it up. Call it good. Oh, Big Wrench has a good one here. Don't forget, folks, hit the thumbs up. Please do that. I see 36 of you are out there. I'd very much appreciate it if you did that, because it does stuff for the thing with the deal. Oh, yeah, and if you're playing the Dead Dogs Garage drinking game, I'm sorry. I hear my daughter babbling in the other room. I don't know what she's saying. Aven's here with us. Hello, Aven. How you doing? Another beautiful Sunday coming. Almost gone. Banana also here with us and says, hey, how is everything? Me and friend checked out some 68 to 70 Chargers after he got out of the hospital this week. He's doing well. Awesome. Cool. Well, hope he finds one worth buying. Cave Dave's here with us again. Hello, Cave Dave. How you doing? DB, Jamie, ever experienced this before? I have a 73 Charger 318. For months now, the car will start, run for about 1 minute, then shut off. Start again, run for 20 seconds, start again, run for 20 seconds. It's an ignition problem. Either all of my thoughts just left my body. Hang on. Okay, 73 Charger, you should be electronic ignition. It's one of your ignition components. It could be distributor, I suppose. It could be your ballast resistor heating up and breaking circuit. It could be your distributor pickup. Same thing. It's one of them, but it would be tough for me to just guess which one. If I were there, I would do some circuit tests, but I don't really. Yeah, it's not really coming to me right at this moment exactly which one you should change, but it's one of them. I've had a coil kind of sort of do that, but I feel like the module could do it too. So, yeah. Bobby Muse says, aloha from Hawaii. Hello, Bobby Muse. How you doing? Oh, one more thought on that, DB. It's also possible that it's a firewall connector or ignition connector under the column. Whatever it is heating up and then breaking. It'll work for a brief time and then break, and the period gets shorter too. So, yeah, there's some different tests you're going to need to do, but it's an ignition problem. Did I do this? Aloha from Hawaii. Aloha, Bobby Muse. How you doing? Big Wrench says, play us a tune. Fine. I am an old woman named after my mother. My old man is another child that's grown old. If dreams were lightning, thunder were desire, this old house would have burned down a long time ago. Make me an angel who flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. To believe in this living's just a hard way to go. All right. Hopefully that'll do. Okay. Easy. Steady. Okay. Hank Reardon wants to know, do you watch Half-Ass Customs channel? His shop burned down. Pretty crappy situation. That sucks. No, I don't. I don't watch many different YouTubers. I want to get down to this real fast because I see it came across. David Rich sent me $10. Thank you very much, David. Hopefully you get your money's worth here. Could you explain or point me in the direction of a video of yours that explains how to add a shunt wire for a high output alternator? It's something I've talked about several times. I think I describe it in my charging system video. I think I tell you exactly what to do, but basically just a good gauge wire, something like 8 gauge, probably plenty big, from the output post on the alternator directly to either battery positive or the big lug on your starter relay. That bypasses the amp gauge, the firewall connector, and you get charged straight from alternator to battery. Now, it's smart to put a high amperage fuse in that circuit or a big gnarly fusible link. But I don't do that. Your mileage may vary. You know, the factory didn't have a fuse in that circuit anyway. So if there's a short, the car burns to the ground. So in my eyes, that's correct. Anyway, there you go. But yeah, you can check out my charging system video. I think I show the one I did on my charger, but I can't remember. I know I explained what it is. So there you go. Oh yeah, sorry, Hank. I was saying I really don't keep up with a whole bunch of different car YouTubers. There are really only a few I watch. Uncle Tony, Vice Grip. There are more smaller ones, but not a lot. I don't really have a lot of time to do that. But I know who that is, and that sucks. Just the other day, Tom sent me a video of a Cornet catching fire, and it reminded me how many fire extinguishers I have. Not enough. Brent Forte wants to know, what's the ETA on the Turbo Slant 6? I don't know. Right now, I couldn't really tell you. Yes, dear?
I can't comment on your live stream.
Yeah, I think it's because you're logged in as your ma, and she doesn't really have a YouTube handle, so you can't comment. Sorry. There are a lot of comments. We got enough comments. Thank you, though. Do you have a comment? What would you like to say? What the heck is that?
AJ.
Oh. Okay. Well, would you close the door, please? Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. See you. Okay, see you later. Bye. Brent Forte, what's the ETA on the Turbo Slant 6? I don't know. Right now, my buddy Mike with that white 64 dart took the intake. He's going to cut it and weld the carb spacer on, but he's holding it hostage until I go help him wire his 53 Ford, which I've already helped with quite a bit, but it just needs to be finished. So yeah, he's just he's not in a hurry because I'm not in a hurry to help him, which is fair. You know, I've gotten the better end of our dealings pretty much since day one, so I don't blame him at all. I'm kind of waiting on that to be done. I also then need to modify an exhaust manifold, but my current thinking is I'll do it in stages. So I think I'll take that car, the manifold, the 4-barrel setup, put that on the car, get the EFI kit running, and then get that all working NA, and then on goes the turbo. That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm kind of excited to do that, test the intake, see if it even works. We'll see. It's going to be an important part. But, you know, in my world, there just really is no ETA. I've looked at the Barracuda several times since handing him that intake and gone, man, I'd like to work on this. So we'll see, but I'm sure it'll be a little while. Tyler C wants to know, almost a month away from Mopars in the Park, are you going to be able to make it? No. And the reason I'm not going to be able to make it is my grandmother's 90th birthday is the same Saturday. Is the Saturday of that weekend that Mopars in the Park is happening. So unfortunately, no, I will not be there. I think we're going to do a live stream with Tom and Rooster there at Rooster's place and me here, though, because I should be back here in time. So we'll see. But no, I won't be able to make it, which is a bummer. I really did want to get out there. There's some cool stuff that I need to see in that part of the world, but it's not happening this time, unfortunately. Morgana says my grandpa named it. Okay, cool. I was going to name the truck myself, and the name I had in mind was Rusty Joe. Sorry, Rusty John. I can't even remember my own names. Rusty John. So that was your grandpa's name and my dad's name. And the tabs actually expired a month after my dad passed away. So I don't know. I just found that kind of interesting. But the Green Monster is pretty good. I might have to amend it to the Greenish Monster. We'll see. But anyway, as I was explaining a minute ago, I did spend about 4 more hours on the truck yesterday. The crank was seized solid. That engine would not turn. I've gotten it. I got it to break free the first day after I picked it up. And then I pulled the plugs, lubricated the cylinders, and I've gotten in there with a big ratchet, with a pry bar, gotten it back and forth. So I've got the crank moving this much now, but I can't get a full rotation. If I can get a full rotation, that thing's going to run. If I can't get a full rotation, I'm not opposed to rebuilding the engine in frame, in the truck. That's kind of what I think. The Sweeptline is like the easiest Dodge truck there is for that. One way or another, I'm going to make it run. I do have a complete engine in spare parts. If I have to put that in there, fine. But I'd like to fix the original engine. I think that would be cooler. And I know I mentioned to you, I do have another cab here. I think I decided I just want to leave the green one. I've done a little bit of body work. I got the driver's door latching. I still don't have the passenger door opening. I got the carburetor unseized, actually, that was a good moment for me. Gave me hope for the engine, but so far, not so good. But anyway, that's where I'm at with that. So far, busted knuckles. I scratched the hell out of my arm on it yesterday. Okay, it's not that bad. There was only a little blood. That's where we're at. MG wants to know, have you ever taken the big back window out of an old CUDA? If so, is it hard? No, I haven't. It's a lock strip window, lock strip gasket. So I think you would just pull the strip. You kind of ease the gasket up. If there's sealant in there, you're going to have to break that free with a plastic tool or something like that. It's very large and delicate, and you're definitely going to want someone inside gently pushing up on the glass. You know, other than being humongous and hard to replace, although with that said, I've got 2 of them here, it's not really that hard. Lock strip windows are pretty straightforward. I've done a few of them. I put the back window in my 67 Fastback Barracuda, the last one. I did that, and it's very similar, just less, you know, a little smaller. It wasn't too bad. Just take your time. Be careful. If it's all full of horrible sealant, it's not really going to want to come out easily, but just slow and steady. You can try and get something in there and cut around it with, like, you know, piano wire or whatever, but you shouldn't really have to do that. Banana says his friend's ogling, whichever, a black 440 RT with red stripes, 4-speed. Gonna get it up on the lift for him this time before he gives up another ungodly sum of money. Yeah, good luck. He's gonna need it. Hobby Macias, whichever, says, howdy, do you add zinc to your engines when you break them in? Yes, not only when I break them in, always. I run a high zinc oil only. I will not run anything in a classic flat tappet engine but a high zinc oil. Now, I tend to be attracted to the cheaper high zinc oils. I do like the diesel oil solution. It works. There are additives in there that we don't need, but it's fine. Usually my go-to is Kendall GT1 High Performance High Zinc in 2050. And my local parts store cut rate carries that stuff, and it's like $3.50 a quart. So I like it. I always run a zinc oil. And when breaking in, usually like on that one, we used a high zinc Joe Gibbs high dollar break-in oil. So shouldn't have had any problems with oil. In other engines where I'm not using an actual break-in oil, I'll just run a regular high zinc oil like I was just talking about, and I'll use Lucas's break-in additive. But yes, always ZDDP, zinc, something else, phosphorus, whatever it is. Anyway, Oren Cahoon says, do not put diesel in fuel. You will not believe the destruction it will cause. Have pics. I have seen people do that, you know, put diesel in their gas cars, and no destruction, but nasty smoke running like dog crap. You know, not good. Do it the other way and put gasoline in your diesel. You're going to have a bad time. Yeah, I'm having a hard time imagining how diesel could really, really do major damage in a gas engine. Yeah, maybe it could. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, don't do it is what I'm trying to say. Somewhat Fast says, fill the cylinders with vinegar. Yeah, that's going to be my next go-to. Vinegar and or a rust dissolver of some kind. I've used Marvel so far, and I had a... I put some WD in because I ran out of Marvel. Hell, it's worth a shot. And then I've had this can of PB for like 8 years. It came with the shop that we bought. So I just emptied that into the cylinders yesterday because it's just like, whatever I got. But yeah, I might try white vinegar. Stephen Emerson says, watched a recent video of yours about a bad cam and lifters in the 440. Could a bent cam cause it to damage the lifters? It's funny you say that because I do think that cam was not straight. And the reason I think that is because the middle 3 cam bearings all had a weird heat mark off to one side. I don't know. The cam itself didn't show any discoloration that matched that. The cam looked fine on the bearing surfaces, but those 3 middle bearings looked a little weird. Now, they don't look weird enough or bad enough that I'm worried about it, but they just looked a little weird. And I had a 360 that did that once with crank bearings. The outer ones were fine, and the middle ones were destroyed. And either the crank was like this, or it was when they were launching, it was deflecting, whatever it was. So yeah, I kind of had that thought, but having said that, when I installed it, it spun free, you know. It felt fine. So if it was bent, it must have been very, very slight enough that only upon heating up did it become, you know, large enough to become a problem. Having said that, I can't exactly see how that would damage the lifters. I don't think so, but who knows, you know. It was kind of weird too. The two that were bad were in the middle. You know, you've got your 4 gaps on the cam between the bearings. It was the second one, the front lifter and the third lifter. But the one between them, fine. And the one behind the third one, fine. And then that other one that had just stopped was back at the back of the engine in a totally different place. So yeah, I don't know. Oren says I got pics to prove it. I would be interested to see that. I'm just curious what it could do. Cave Dave says, I had a lifter tapping on my Plymouth 440. I pulled the valve cover and got hammered with gas fumes. Don't think it had anything to do with the gas tank issues I had, but by chance, did you have a bad fuel pump? Because a bad fuel pump can pump gas into the crankcase. That's one of those ask me how I know type situations. I see 47 of you are out there now. Thank you very much for being here with us. If you haven't done it yet, my homework for all of you is to hit like on the stream. I really appreciate that. It helps something do stuff. And if you've got any questions for me or comments on my recent videos, feel free to drop them below and I will get to them. The last week of my life has been pretty much all about failing camshafts and disappointment. So yeah, it's been kind of a rough couple weeks, if I'm honest. I was more than ready for a break this weekend, and that's why you didn't get a second video today. Having said that, I did spend a bunch of time on the 64 Power Wagon yesterday, and I was hoping maybe that would be today's video, but it just wasn't happening. I've got a few other things that I may or may not ever release. I don't know. It's interesting. It's not that the channel has changed really. It's just I have a better sense of what people actually want to see now, I think. And a lot of the videos I've made aren't that. So I just won't release them. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. Anyway, the people love failure. Have you guys noticed that? People love failure. DB says, thanks, Jamie. We'll check those. Just recently bought a Chinese distributor. We'll check those things. Yeah, it's probably that. It could be that. Just saying. Cave Dave says, oh, the 750 double pumper has been running pretty rich lately. Any chance you had a backfire and blew out a power valve? If it's a newer 750, you should have blowout protection, probably. But I didn't show this on the video. So it's funny. The video from last week where I had the lifter fail, the one this week was tearing the engine down and I showed you the lifters and the cam and what all that looked like. The one last week, I wasn't even going to make a video on breaking in that engine because I've already done 2 on the Mopar or No Kart, plus the bonus, the one in the black coronet, which we did in the car for various reasons, but it was hooked to the Mopar or No Kart, like life support. So that was kind of cool. I wasn't even going to do a video on this one, you know. Whatever, I've done it. It's been done. The people know what it looks like breaking in a big block on this stand. So I just took a few clips, and then the next day I thought, you know what I could do is I could do a guide explaining what I'm doing, you know, what I'm checking, the steps I go through, you know, the RPM, the things to watch, that kind of stuff, whether you're in a car or not. There are things you need to do. So I decided that's the video. Cool. And then I made the video. Now I was partway through making the video when the engine started ticking. I guess technically I heard a light tick before I even started. Anyway, the point is, it didn't make it into the video because I wasn't planning to make one. But when I first fired that engine up, the Holly that I detailed and rebuilt for that car was just dumping gas. Horrible, super bad, chugging, billowing smoke. And honestly, that may be what ultimately led to the cam problems we had, because it fired right off, but it was stumbling and I would rev it and it just wouldn't rev nice. It had a hesitation and it was billowing black smoke out of the exhaust. And I went, okay, nope, shut it down because we're just going to wash the rings out of it. So I shut it down and I pulled the Holly and it was pouring fuel out of the power valve opening. I've never had this happen before. That was a brand new power valve out of an new old stock Holley kit, and it blew. It just died immediately. I never had a backfire, nothing. It just was bad right out of the package. So, anywho, power valves, they will do that. And it's pretty easy to check. I mean, you got to pull the front bowl. Usually, if you look at the power valve and it's wrinkly in there, it's bad. You can also clean all the gas off it and suck on it. See if it works. Walter G902 says, howdy from Maryland. I'll be finally shipping out your box of diecast on Tuesday. Yes. I finally got my lots I bought off eBay, and there's a few goodies I have for you I was waiting on. Awesome. Super excited. Can't wait. Appreciate that. Ross sent some music notes and some claps. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. That is a John Prine song, and I actually play that with the band I am playing with currently, but I don't get to sing it. Tiff sings it, so yeah, it's an interesting song, as you could tell by the lyrics. It's like he wrote it for a woman to sing, but then he sang it himself on his first album, and it's just a great piece. Many famous country artists have covered it, so. Brent Forte says that should be the ending of all your videos, that you playing that song in the background at the end. Well, I might get sued. Yeah, sometimes my music is in the videos. I know you guys know that. I actually, on the lifter, the teardown video, this weekend's video, I did actually put some music in. I've kind of neglected that the last few times, but I forgot to put the Rocket Restorations bumper in, so you win some, you lose some. I just realized my sister isn't here, or my mom. That's weird. Wonder what they're doing. I have considered doing an outro. That would be cool. I don't know. I haven't considered it enough. JMR is here with us again and says, hello, late to the show. Great job on your 440 lifter and camp tutorial. Thank you. I tried. I don't have the answers. That's the thing. But I will say, don't buy stuff from the Walmart of camshafts. And on that note, Rooster's here with us, or at least he was 17 minutes ago. And Rooster says, okay, nobody move. I lost my mind. You can't lose it if you never had it. Anyway. Bobby Muse wants to know, any tips for transpan gasket leak? You guys, I don't remember who it was that mentioned that I always play with my facial hair, but now it's like a nervous tick and I can't stop noticing that I'm doing it, but I also can't stop doing it. It's maddening. Maddening. Bobby Muse wants to know, any tips for transpan gasket leak? The front of the trans has recesses with much less sealing surface. Gasket number 3 is a cork molly or mall or whatever the heck they call that with a metal insert. Still has drips. Are you totally sure it's the pan gasket? And the reason I'm asking that is because I just had this on the crew cab power wagon. It leaked from the dipstick tube and it perfectly came down and hit the pan rail and then ran around and looked like the pan gasket. So I resealed the pan. And then 6 months later, I replaced the dipstick tube seal and it's good to go. You can also have the same thing with the shift shaft seal. It's a very common one. And sometimes you won't really see the trail coming down, but you'll see it collecting on the pan rail. So you'll think, pan gasket. The fact that you've done it 3 times tells me that might not be it. It could be. It totally could be. I mean, if your pan is anything but perfectly flat, you're going to have a bad time. They make a really good Torque Fight 727 oil pan gasket. You can get it from the dealer. It's like $40. It's plastic with rubber O-rings in it. It works with the older 727 sometimes. Although now that I say that, the one that I thought failed was the one in that Power Wagon transmission that was actually the dipstick tube seal. Anyway, they're supposed to work. That's what I'm saying. So that's an option for a really good gasket. But again, if your pan's warped or super bad, probably not going to work. I have, in the past, multiple times, double siliconed rubber gaskets. Usually the cork is kind of okay. But I think I've done it with those two, especially, again, if there's any question on the straightness of your transpan, that's usually where the problems are. So yeah, make absolutely sure it is that. If not, maybe try one of those dealer gaskets. If not, go back to a cork or rubber with double silicone. And don't reef the bolts tight. The metal insert, that sounds like a great idea. I've never actually seen one of those. Possibly in the running, definitely, for the best username I've ever seen, Turbo Encabulator. The Turbo Encabulator, something side fumbling. And I do apologize for being far enough behind that this question was 17 minutes ago, but I do like to get to everybody, so I hope you can appreciate that. Most people don't seem to mind too much. Turbo Encabulator wants to know, is towing in overdrive with a 518 transmission a no-no? Are you supposed to leave it in third for towing? Yes and no. Basically, any overdrive transmission, you are better off towing in drive, third gear, as opposed to overdrive. Run to run, tank to tank comparison with my old Cummins, I actually found it got better mileage with overdrive off towing than with overdrive on. In general, you want to tow in third gear, but on flat ground, and if you're tired of hearing the engine scream, you can pop it into overdrive. It's not a big deal, but you don't want to put a bunch of load on it in overdrive. That can tend to raise your trans temperature, and the 518, like every other transmission, doesn't like to get hot. So yeah, you're better in third. It's okay to use overdrive at times, but definitely, I don't use it getting up to speed. I don't use it going up a hill. Just be aware of that. You're better off in third. And in some situations, you will actually get better economy towing in third. That's my experience. Maybe that's just me. All Praise is here. It says, howdy from California. How's it going, All Praise? Morgana. And if no one caught that, Morgana's who I bought the 64 Power Wagon from. My latest infatuation, and the truck that was pictured in today's live stream announcement. Also, it's on my Instagram a couple times. A few more of you guys have found me on Instagram recently. That's cool. I'd love to have a decent following there, because Instagram is where you get my day-to-day goings on. So if anyone cares for that sort of thing, it's Dead Dodge Garage on Instagram, all one word. You can also always click on the link on my website, which is deaddodgegarage.com. Anyway, Morgana says, fair enough, Rusty John's pretty good. Yeah, but now, the greenish monster. I like that too. We'll play it by ear. It'll be like my last truck. I shouldn't say last truck. It was like 4 classic Power Wagons and Power Rams ago. But my orange one, which we called the General Leaks, the Generally Dismantled, and the Iron Goat. Iron Goat. Timothy Russell is here with us, or was, and says, hi. Hello, Timothy. How you doing? Dan Tupper says, towing in overdrive is like crossing the streams in Ghostbusters. Bad. Very bad. Certainly can be. So again, hills, load, heavy load, getting up to speed, I wouldn't use it. It's okay to use it for brakes, for flat land at times. It's okay. But yeah, generally speaking, you should avoid it. Heat's going to kill your automatic. Orion Cahoon says, detonation like you've never heard. 2 360s in a boat. Interesting that it would detonate. Because it's... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is diesel, so it's compression fired, but the compression ratio is low enough, unless the compression ratio isn't low enough. Anyway, interesting stuff. Don't put diesel in your gas engine. That's kind of the bottom line. Timothy Russell says, I have a 1998 Dodge Ram with a 5.9 Magnum that keeps eating water pumps, keeps leaking from the weep hole. I think the heads are cracked. Do you think it's boiling the coolant? Your coolant doesn't boil as long as you're 50-50 antifreeze. It doesn't boil until it gets really, really hot. You have to push out enough coolant to get it low enough, to get it to overheat, to get it to boil. That's when you'll have problems. I have seen weep hole. Okay. Hang on. I have seen water pumps on engines with bad head gaskets, cracked heads, the like go. Usually you'll also have problems with radiator hoses. In my experience, you'll be blowing hoses left and right, and you've got exhaust gathering in the top of the cooling system. It's obviously raising temperature. It's lowering the thermostat's ability to open, and it's just killing everything it touches. Those rubber hoses don't want to be exposed to exhaust and does bad stuff. So I've seen water pumps go on vehicles with blown gaskets. Usually there's a root cause too. So it's like chicken and the egg. Did the bad pump cause it to overheat, causing the gasket, or did the gasket start leaking, causing the... It's hard to say. Having said that, are you using decent water pumps? I keep putting water pumps on mail trucks and then having them leak again from the weep hole in like a month or two. And the U.S. Postal Service is in the habit of buying the cheapest junk imaginable. So that could be related. But, you know, there could be another cause that I'm just not hip to. I don't know. But I can pretty much guarantee to you the heads are cracked. It's a Magnum. The heads are always cracked. The question is, are they cracked to the point that it's a problem? Because usually they aren't, and you can kind of get away with it. I mean, it's not ideal. They crack between the valve seats there, but it's a rare day that a crack extends into water. Really rare day. And the one we've seen that did that, it steamed like a bastard. It used tons of coolant, and it missed on that hole. So there was an indicator something was going on. Yeah, it's usually the Magnum heads don't crack to the point that they do that. But if they do, you'd have tons of cooling system pressure. It would be pushing coolant out one way or another. It would be doing bad stuff. So there you go. I kind of doubt it. I would suspect the quality of your water pumps, but it could be something else. Bob Mee is here with us. Bob Mee, very intelligent gentleman, professional engine builder, knows more than I ever want to know, frankly. And Bob says, Lucas, classic and hot rod oil, add Delco EOS to supplement the zinc. Verify the lifters have 001 to 015 radius, cam taper, zero Brinelling, which is a term I've read before. I need to see pictures of what that looks like because I don't know, but I have read that before. Maximum 280-ish valve spring pressure at lift. A lot of shit out there. Yeah, big time. Big time. Big Wrench Tech says, if you or any Mopar fanatic wants an LA360 with a 4-barrel Edelbrock intake, non-roller engine for free in Florida, let me know. Free to someone who can use it. I want an LA Roller 318. Well, I'm a little far from Florida, as you know. So I don't think I'll be hopping over to grab that as much as I'd like to. But if anyone in that area needs an LA 360, you guys don't have to see all the recuts of me when I'm filming episodes because I do this in real life. I just can't talk. I don't know what it is. I just can't talk. And I end up reshooting, clips just for that reason. And it's very frustrating. It's a good thing I don't play the Dead Dodge Garage drinking game in real life. Anyway, if you're in the area of the Florida and you are in the market for an LA 360 with the 4-barrel Edelbrock intake, get a hold of Big Wrench Tech on his channel. And it sounds like it's going to be available. Big Wrench also says, by the way, epic tune. Thank you. Ross says, people identify with failure. Life would be boring if it were all score. Yeah, people really do like the broken stuff. And Rooster's got it there too. Yeah, people love carnage. The more you wreck shit, the more fans you have. Monster trucks, tractor pulls, all about breaking shit. Yeah, for sure. Timothy Russell says it's gone through 4 water pumps in the last year. Wow. I mean, there's something going on. At 4 water pumps, then I'm thinking, okay, probably not the water pump's fault. At 2, I could see. 4 is a lot. Yeah, again, it's not that it's impossible. I have seen those 2 things together, but I'm not so sure cause and effect, all of that. So I can't say definitively, yes, that's what it is. But I think if you had a problem with a cracked head to the point that it was destroying water pumps, it would be doing more than that. Here's another good one. I see this on Dakotas and Durangos. The top driver's side corner of the water, for fuck's sake, of the radiator lets go. Starts leaking out of the radiator. And I believe it's the same root cause. Because those, of course, have problems. Ross says, I checked power valves with the Mighty Vac. Well, I didn't have one handy, so I used my lips. But yeah, Mighty Vac is a great tool. Funny enough, I know I mentioned it live before. The turbo that I bought for the Turbo Slant 6 project, I bought from Rooster, our very own Rooster, Good Dodge Garage East Edition, Midwest Edition, whichever. And he was saying he's now not making enough boost. I need to send him his restrictor. Still need to do that. But while I was on the phone with him, I thought, hey, I should check this wastegate and see what pressure it opens at. It doesn't. It's bad. The diaphragm's torn. It never worked. No wonder he made all the boost in the world. Anyway, Mighty Vac's a great tool. It can do so much. It can bleed brakes. It can check your distributor. It can do cool things. DB says, Jamie, what brand of camshaft failed? Can you tell us? Dan Tupper's got it here. It rhymes with stomp. Big Wrench says, in the voice of Morgan Freeman. There are a lot of impressions that I can only do when I say the person's name. Like, for example, Patrick Warburton. Anyway, in the voice of Morgan Freeman, sometimes cams just want to stay running in the cars and run. And sometimes they want to act a fool. Like a flat tappet. Like a flat tappet. That wasn't a very good Morgan Freeman. Anyway, Banana says, what do you think is the mileage of a 440 Magnum in a classic Charger? Bad. My friend says he wants good gas mileage. I said, good luck. Yeah, good luck. Overdrive gear, tall tire, highway gear. It can be done with an overdrive, but good is going to mean passable. A fuel injection kit can help too, or very careful carb tuning, very careful timing curve. You know, if you're getting 15 with a 440, you're doing really good. My 383 in my 66 Charger, I would usually average 16 to 16 and a half miles a gallon. That was a 323 gear. I don't remember how tall the tire was. And just a stock 383, nothing special. Nothing special at all, 16 and a half miles a gallon. The next one I put in, which was high compression, not a good combination. That was lesson one for me. And your engine is not going to work if you don't have the right combination of parts. You can't just throw pop-up pistons into a 383 with a crappy head and expect it to work, and not the right cam and so forth. Anyway, that one got 13 to the gallon. My current Charger, I think we're in the 13 neighborhood. Yay! It might be more like 15 or 16, and it's a super stock 383 with a 323 gear now. But I can tell you it was costing me $35 to $40 a day to get out to Rocket. My truck costs $30, and it averages about 18 miles a gallon, so you can just kind of eyeball the math on that. It's also a diesel, so there's that. Anyway, it's going to suck. It's going to be 12 to 15 at the high end, probably, with a 440. Careful gear selection and overdrive. My sister finally dropped in right on time as usual and said, what up? We were over at our little brother's house for a card game the other night. That was fun. A lot of swearing. I won the last battle, but I still didn't win the war. Charger 68 RT is here with us and says, oh yeah, that's the 68 Charger if I've ever seen one. Man, I love 68 Chargers. Did you guys know I really like 68 Chargers? Happy Sunday. Do you know if a 440 with an RPM performer intake and Mopar performance cleaner will clear the hood of a 68 Charger? I don't know. No. On the big block, we have the advantage of every single intake being an air gap. So that one is an air gap, same as all the other ones. But I can't say specifically how tall that is. It's probably taller than like a performer. My car is a 3D3 with a Performer with an Edelbrock, and the Mopar Performance air cleaner fits just fine. But you're a 440, so taller deck height, intake's taller. Plus, it's probably taller than my Performer. Plus, I don't know which carb you have. I don't know. In my experience, you don't really run into hood clearance problems until you have something like a Super Victor. But again, your mileage may vary. You can always supplement a drop base for the factory base. That's what I did on the Demon. I put a drop base under the Mopar Performance lid, and that clears. I'm about to add a carb spacer to help with the fuel blowing problem, and I don't know if it's going to clear anymore. So that is an option. Rooster says, where's Mom and Caitlin and Tom? Well, Tom is apparently here, kind of. Tom says, wife's sick, so I'm taking care of both kids. Yay! You guys just can't catch a break with the sickness stuff. Ugh. And I don't know where my mom's at. My sister did drop in right on time as usual. Anyway. Yeah, some of the usual suspects, or should I say scumbags, I don't know, weren't here with us. If you want to cook a 45 or 48 trans fast, pull a load with overdrive on. Mopar recommends to use tow mode to not cook the clutches due to overheated oil. Oil breaks down fast over 300 degrees. Yep, exactly. Again, and all I could say is, in general, you don't want to use overdrive. When I'm towing, I will use it on long flat grades where heat isn't much of a concern. But again, you got to be careful. And if you have like a chooched up Cummins, you need a trans temp gauge. If you don't have one, please get one. We did all that. Jimmy James is here and simply says, Jabo says, I know. I'm not sure what Jabo knows, but I like it. Yeah, right on time as usual. Luke Tichenell, I'd want to guess a bent or bad fan. That's a good idea. Or too much belt pressure. Usually on the Magnum, in my experience, you have the opposite problem where the damn tensioner sticks and it won't actually put pressure on the belt at all, really. Yeah, I hadn't thought a bad fan. Bent, putting extra strain on there. That's a thought. I feel like you'd probably be able to see it or maybe even feel it if it was that bad. And it is, of course, a clutch fan. So even if it is bent, it's not. Yeah, but that's an interesting thought. Definitely an interesting thought. Okay, and yeah, Timothy's tried every brand. Basically, it does use some coolant, nothing extreme. I've tried AutoZone's water pumps, Napa's water pumps, and a Mopar. Banana says, I get 10 to 11 in my charger, so I'm not surprised. Yeah. Big Ranch says, I knocked Morgan Freeman out of the park. But I'm not totally sure. Did you know that he flies? He's a licensed pilot. Yeah. Anyway, that's your random Morgan Freeman trivia for today. And I only know that because I've watched a lot of Craig Ferguson. Banner says, I'm helping him to have realistic expectations. Good. That's important. It's very important. Bob Me says, I've got an original 69 Charger RTSC 440 Magnum, unrestored, unrebuilt, all original Survivor in X9 black. That's awesome. Cool. Says it gets about 12, 13 miles a gallon on the highway and performs very well, even by today's standards. Cool. Yeah, that's right in the middle of my guess. That sounds about right. I don't think you could really expect a whole lot more than that without changing stuff. So yeah, I'd say that's where you're going to be at. Bananas is a 68 3D3 4-speed. It gets decent gas mileage. Well, sure. I mean, with the 4-speed, you're eliminating the slippage in the converter, so that's part of it right there. Yeah, cool. I would guess if you drive it like a sane person, which is a lot to ask of someone driving a big block 4-speed B-body, I bet that combination's capable of 17 or 18. Something like that. Bob Me says, best 444 barrel intake for under hood clearance and performance is the Holly Street Dominator. Interesting. I've never actually seen a Holly Street Dominator on a big block yet. I've seen them on small blocks. I have one. It's on my brother's car. Or is it actually, that might be a strip Dominator now that I'm thinking about it. Banana says, I use Edelbrock. I just prefer the tuning. I have become a believer in Edelbrock over the last year or two. A firm believer. And even before that, I knew, in my experience, your mileage will probably vary. On a stockish V8, you take an Edelbrock out of the box, you drop it on, you tune the idle mixture and speed, and you're good to go. And they're just kind of right there. They're good enough, you know. They seem to work really, really well. And they're easy to tune with needles. You know, obviously you've got options for the pump adjustment there too. So there are things you can do. And if you've got an AVS and you can adjust the door, you can adjust your secondary kicking in. So pretty cool. I really like them. They're simple. They don't have the horrible bull gaskets that the Holly have. You don't have to open them to tune them. I really like them. For all out performance, Holly double pumper. I mean, just get a Holly double pumper. The difference between the AVS 2 that I had and the double pumper on the Demons 340, not as big as I expected. So the Edelbrock was doing okay. It's just, I was still fighting that bog. It just never wanted to stop bogging. Very irritating. But anyway, streetcar, Edelbrock all the way. Plus they're similar to stock. It's easy to get the throttle adapter. Everything just kind of works. I like them. But yeah, that 16 to 16 and a half miles a gallon I got with my 68 Charger, that 66, excuse me, that Charger. I can't say the first Charger either. The first Charger was a 71. But the first one I drove, so 66, it had a Holly vacuum secondary. And that carburetor was amazing. It had no functioning choke, but I would just hit the gas once, and it would fire up and idle like fuel injection. It got 16 plus miles a gallon. It didn't bog, you know, stock 383. Wasn't a barnstormer or whatever you want to call that, but it was respectable. You know, it was great. And yeah, that carburetor was magic. And then later we put that carburetor on the garbage can CUDA, and that thing, 360, aluminum heads, 4-speed, 410 gear, and that vacuum secondary Holly was amazing. It was on a performer intake. It's just like super undersized for that combination. So you know you're leaving top end power on the table, but the torque, it was also a modest camshaft. That's an important part of the equation. But it was just right now. It was great. No bog, nothing. Anyway, my point. Those can be quite good too. I don't see any value in going, Carter Edelbrocks are garbage, or Holly suck. They all can be good. A Rochester can be good. Kind of, to a point. But yeah, Edelbrock, in my just regular street drivers, I've got one on the 68. It stays. It works great. You know, I was thinking about fuel injecting that, but that runs perfect. I don't need to do that. Ross says, second gen Cummins making squeaky noises from the area of the fan clutch hub. Is this a thing? Yes, it's a thing. Change your serpentine belt and your tensioner. Both. Change both. Big Wrench Tech says, not just any tensioner, the damn tensioner. Yeah. Yeah, the Magnum one. HR says, how do you compare cars from the 60s and 70s as a daily driver compared to current cars with their crash ratings? 60s and 70s cars are unsafe, insane, and downright stupid to drive. But I'll see you out there. You don't want to. Yeah. There is no comparison. There just isn't. There isn't. Safety doesn't exist. It just doesn't. Ooh. Rooster sent me a picture. That's the next comment. It says your Charger needs this. Check your phone. Well, needs is the wrong word, but I think I kind of want it. Oh, good. August 5. I don't know. Cool. Man, it's just never ending. 51 of you out there now. If you haven't said anything, dropped any comments, asked any questions, please do that. And if you're playing the Dead Dodge Garage drinking game, which of course is you drink every time I say something stupid or wrong, trip over my own tongue, realize how far behind in the comments I am, and God, I think I added another rule. There was a rule we were using way back, which was a super secret location I'm not allowed to talk about, which is still in effect. God, I swear I added another rule a week or two ago, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Banana says the answer to the safety question is I only drive it. Fuel mileage. Sane in city limits. On dirt roads, it's game over. Nice. Yeah. There you go. Yep. Timothy Russell says, question number 2. Hang on 1 second. I'll come back to that. 1 second. I had another thought on this. Some people want to say, I have seen said, God, my hairline's messed up. I have seen people say anyone that drives a classic muscle car for fuel mileage is an idiot. And I disagree with that. My brother's Valiant has a 360 and a 4-speed overdrive, and it gets 22 miles a gallon. And it's still fun. There are ways of doing it. And I disagree with that notion. I think it's totally possible to drive a classic car, get decent fuel mileage, and enjoy yourself. That's kind of my goal with the 67 Barracuda, the Daily Driver CUDA project. I just love the car. I want to drive it everywhere and get good gas mileage. But anyway, it can be done. People do it. People get decent mileage in classics. It happens. And it's not ridiculous. People that want to drive their car every day, everywhere, forever, want to get good gas mileage. Anyway, end thought. Timothy Russell says, question number 2. I have a 383. What even was that? 383 in a 70 Roadrunner, and I'm putting a mild cam in it. What? Well, it says star converting, but I'm sure you mean stall converter. Do you recommend it's the stock one now? Has a hard time idling. She wants to go. How mild are you talking on the cam there? Your cam card is going to give you a range, an RPM range that cam is happy in. You probably want to match your stall to the bottom end of that range or even a little higher. Now, stall speed varies. Any given converter, it might be advertised as 2,500, but depending on the torque of the engine you put it behind, it might be 2,300, it might be 27, 2,800. Don't know. Depends on how much torque you got in that range. So it's not an exact science, but if you've got a cam that's lumpy enough to the point that you got crappy idle and not a lot of low end power till it starts going, you're definitely not going to get by with a stock converter. Look at your cam card and see what RPM range it says that cam works in. And I'd shoot for somewhere around the bottom of that. If this is a street car, you probably don't want to go crazy and put in like a 3,500 stall, because that's just like sloppy mess on the street. I mean, I had a small block Dart with like a 2,200 stall, and I even noticed that one just feeling slippy and not great. It was a street-driven car with a very mild cam. So, yeah. The other thing I will say as far as your hard time idling, have you changed your timing curve at all, or are you still running a stock timing curve? Something I have found time and time again is more aggressive cam wants more aggressive timing at idle. If you've got a cam that's to the point that you need a stall converter, you probably need to change your timing curve. If you're using the stock distributor with a 25 plus degree curve plus a vacuum advance, that's too much. Your engine's not going to be happy at the bottom end of that range. You'll have to time it at 5 to 10 degrees to get your top end timing right. And that engine is just going to be pissed off about life. So another thing you probably need to think about is a modified timing curve. I was actually going to do a video about that. It's on my list. My daughter's in a video call in the next room over with her good friend who moved to Florida, and they're having way too much fun. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but it's ridiculous. Anyway, hopefully that helps, Timothy. I'm not an expert on stall converters, but that's where I would start. If this is a drag car, throw all that out the window and go big or go home. Personally, I like 4 speeds. You are the stall converter in that. Banana says, I've gone 145 in that 3-to-3 powered car. Would not recommend it. due to the 68 Charger's sheer size and width. That thing wants to fly. And it's not just the size. It's, well, we've talked about this before. It's absolutely pathetic aerodynamics is what it is. The flying buttress rear window, that's part of it. The recessed grille, that's part of it. They lift. I've gone 130, 135-ish in a 68 Charger, and you could feel the ass end start lifting off the ground. It's sketchy. That's why the Daytona exists. I think I've only got about 90 and change in my 68. Big Ranch says, humbucker or single coils? No. P90s. Those are single coils. They're just fat single coils. P90s are my favorite, but my go-to is usually a humbucker. It does what I want. Single coils don't. Small, standard Stratocaster size, little single coils. Yeah, it's just not my sound. It's too rinky-dink. So P90s, which are those big fat singles, or humbuckers. Banana says that was before I knew what it was like to have a near-death experience. I've had a couple. The biggest one was when I put over my 72 CB750. Yeah. None others come to mind right now. Well, I did almost drown in a swimming pool when I was 3. And again when I was like 9. Recurring theme in my life. Can't really swim. Bob Me says, we engine dyno everything we machine assemble before it leaves. Trust me, port match the Holly Street Dominator tops all, including the Performer RPM, and it fits under hood, no problems. Awesome. Cool. Very cool. I'm all about the port match these days. That is the move. But I do it with silly things like a Performer that's a teeny tiny runner, and it makes no sense, but it is what it is. There's always that. Is it Hot Rod or was it one of the Mopar magazines that did the big block intake shootout? And I don't remember what they crowned king. I have to check. Intake shootout part 1. Victor 383, tallest, most extreme. I think there's just a list. Isn't there just a list where they rank them? I thought there was. No, it's just listing the power numbers for all of them. Well, that's way too much reading right now. Anyway, I don't know. They probably just crowned the victor the winner and called it a day. But that's good to know. Holly Street Dominator fits under the hood. Makes power. Wants to die when I put it in gear. What stall converter? Okay, so you asked that again, but now you changed it. It wants to die when I put it in gear. Check your timing. Search around with your distributor. I gotta quit doing that. Search around with your distributor and see if you can find a spot where it will idle in gear. Also, what do you have the idle speed in neutral set at? Cam like that, I'm guessing you're gonna need to go around 1,000 RPM. Search around with your distributor only at idle. Set it up to like 25 degrees and see if it will drop into gear. Do not, if you have a stock timing curve, do not drive it that way because you'll melt shit. You'll have pinging like you would not believe. But that will give you a bit of an indication if that thing, like I'm thinking, wants a bunch more timing at idle. Now, you're still going to have the converter problem. If you've got a stock converter, it's just going to be dragging you down and it's not going to perform. But my 67 Belvedere 383, my wife's 67 Belvedere, I should say, that my friend Dave has now, 383 with one of them big mother thumper cams that was 515 lift and some outrageous duration number, choppy chop, lumpy lump idle, all that. Very aggressive. There was no power downstairs because it was a stock converter. But that ridiculous cam with the stock converter, it idled in gear. You have another problem. Timing curves one. And the next one would be idle air quantity, if that makes sense. With big aggressive cams, often you'll have to drill holes in the primary throttle blades to get more idling air. Your idle mixture screw settings, basically they might not do anything. You might have that going on. And Uncle Tony did a great video about that. He uses a little air valve from a fish tank to create an air bleed to allow it to idle and be tunable. That might be something you need to look into. The problem you will have with that, with a cam and with a stock converter, is nobody's home downstairs. A cam is a compromise, and you made a compromise to get high RPM power at the cost of low end torques. It's just not going to make power out of the hole, but you should be able to get it to idle in gear. So I'm thinking you've got a timing or idle mixture problem, or that air issue I was just referring to. Again, Uncle Tony's got a great video about that. Jorge Hernandez is here with us, right on time as usual, but he sent me $4.99. So, okay, cool. Trying to make an entrance here. Sorry, I'm late. I hope I didn't miss Lifter Talk. Well, we talked about it some, but since you're here, look, it's the only More Bad Than Car shirt that your family doesn't own. Thanks for that. Thank you very much for the tip. I appreciate it. You keep sending me money one way or another, and I really do appreciate that. I'm glad you're here. Rooster says to Tim, go with a 3400 stall, and that'd be great. But if this is a car you drive, maybe not so much. If you want to go fast and do cool stuff on a drag strip, you're going to need that. But again, I would go lower than that if this is a car you drive. If you just put the mild cam in for a little more power and a little bit of the lumpy lump sound, you don't want to go huge on that converter, because it's just going to be a slippy mess on the street. Now, I don't have time to go into the details of how converters work. It's not that they don't work below their stall speed, because they do. The stall speed is just the speed that it will brake at when you got your foot on the brake and you rev the engine. But higher stall converters still tend to be sloppy below that, in my experience. But Henner says, my daily's a 74 Delta 88. Be very careful, though. Yeah, exactly. You just... Man, I love these old cars. You guys know that. It's my whole life. Mostly Mopars, but I like all of them. But you have to be careful. You have to have that in your mind at all times. You got to be watching for other people. They're going to wreck into your expensive relic. So have good insurance. But yeah, if you get in a crash, man, you are the crumple zone. And if you're in a car before 67, your column doesn't even collapse. It's going to go through you. You don't have a shoulder belt unless you added one in an older car. And then even if you have a shoulder belt in a classic Mopar, until 74, it's completely worthless. And then when you get to the 74 ones, the retractor sucks. There's still no airbags. There's just nothing there. It doesn't. Yeah. So Banana, agreeing with my point clearly, safety is non-existent. So just be wary of that. Don't expect the steering or suspension to be anything like a modern car. Or the brakes, no anti-lock brakes, no crumple zones, no airbags. That car is going through whatever you pointed at, and you're not going to enjoy it. So anyway, long braking distance, and just, you got to be aware of other drivers. You have to, because you can't stop fast, and you're going to have a bad time if you wreck that thing. Big Ranch says, drop a like now. So please do that. Ross says the NASCAR cage was developed because of early muscle crash worthiness, or lack thereof. Greg Loy's here with us and says, hello. Hello, Greg. How you doing? Banner says, think of it like having a pet tiger. Dougster Wolverine Garage is here. Of course, Dougster's icon is the Hastings guy. And he says, have no fear. The Dougster is here. Jamie, how many kids with ADD does it take to change a light bulb? Hey, let's ride bikes. Or my personal favorite, squirrel. Big Ranch says, drop a like now. It does things. Yeah. I'm winded now. I ran. Joel Shooter is here with us again and wants to know, did you do anything with the two-door Belvedere? Man, a big block stroker 400 would be a great build to do for content. Well, have I got good news for you? I actually already have a video out on building a 451 stroker, and the follow-up to that is coming. I didn't release it immediately In case anyone doesn't know, certain people in the comments do. I'm not an engine building expert. I'm just some guy. And I decided before I released the second video on the stroker motor that I assembled, I wanted to have it running and sounding all good and doing cool stuff. So I decided to wait to release that. But in getting it together, I've had so many issues with part fitment. It's absolutely ridiculous. So that's kind of the next video on that. It's just like, dude, take nothing for granted, have everything checked. And do your due diligence. The timing chain set I put on there with the stroker crank, the crank gear is loose. The cam gear fits fine, 3-bolt cam gear, okay, fine. But we've got a cam button in there to keep the cam from walking because it's a roller conversion, right? Doesn't have the lifters forcing it rearward anymore. There's still a gear in there. Some people say that the oil pump drive will do that job. Yeah, okay. I'll put in the button for safety. Well, the button didn't fit in the cam gear because the hole was machined slightly too small. And I sanded it and I tried to get it to fit better. And then I pressed it in there and it broke the gear. Because these parts just don't fit together, these aftermarket parts. So the next video on that engine is on that. But after that, we will have a run-in with that engine, and it's going in the 73 Charger project we're doing at Rocket. We haven't had a lot of progress on that one lately. It's back from paint. We're still waiting for restored parts to come in. We just got restored bumpers, I think, are in the mail now. So it's a slow process. But yeah, we are doing one. It's my first stroker engine. Bit of a learning curve like everything else, you know. It's nothing I've ever had to deal with. Before that engine, everything I've done is with stock parts or a performance build that someone else did like decades ago, and I'm just honing it, rings, bearings, putting it together, whatever. I've never actually put together a performance build like that. So it's interesting. It's kind of foreign waters for me, but that's what it is. So I do have one video up on that and more coming. The two-door Belvedere that I had was the 67, and that went to my friend Dave. I just mentioned that. I can't think of... Oh, the two-door. You're probably talking about the two-door 64 post car. No, I didn't do anything with it. I considered buying it myself, but I just got too many projects. So it's still there at Rocket where I work, and Tom actually listed it for sale like 3 days ago. Something tells me it won't last long. It's a cool car. Banana says, it all looks so cool. Can't imagine the 68 Charger any other way. Exactly. That's what makes it amazing. It's also bad. I think I've said that on video. Banana says, I love my 68. Wouldn't trade her for anything. I love mine. It's like, it was my dream. It was one of those things like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to afford one, but maybe someday. It was a dream. It was the stuff my dreams are made of, and I got hold of one, and it's amazing, and I love it. Sometimes I look at it and see dollar signs, and some days, you know, doing what I do, I have great days and not so great days. And I go, man, that's a lot of money just sitting there. But every time I go into the garage and I see it and I remember that I own it, it's a good time, you know? It's all gravy from here, you know? So yeah, I'm right there with you. Amanda Tichenell says, my husband and I enjoy your show. Thank you for the content. You bet. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys putting up with my BS and my inability to talk. A customer of mine, we've talked about that gray and green crew cab that's still here. Someone spotted it in the background of one of my videos a few weeks ago and asked about it. It might have been Jorge. I think it was Jorge. And anyway, long-term project. That's the one I did the video on called Problem Child. Well, the owner, his name's John, friend of mine. He's got a friend that lives in Ocean Shores, Washington, that found that video and sent it to John. And I never sent it to him or told him that I made it. I don't know why I didn't do that. It was pretty early days with the channel, and I wasn't sure if what I was doing was any good yet. I'm still not sure, frankly. But he watched it and said, I really like that video. Your storytelling is great. Your narration, it draws you in. You want to see it till the end. And that's a really good compliment. I like that. I really appreciate you guys watching it, and people seem to like it. Some people do. That's great. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and appreciate you coming along. Rooster says, I got the fender indicator lights from Tom this week. So yesterday I went to put them on the 67, and to my surprise, the wire harness has no provision to make them work. Very odd, but why? There's a jumper harness. It goes in. Yeah, we're doing the 67 at Rocket, and that's what it is. I put the engine and lighting harness in, and it did not have that. That was a separate piece. It's a jumper harness that goes to the turn signal, and it gives a single wire for that. So you need those jumper harnesses. Big Wrench says, check flares, but I don't know what that means. So I'm just going to move on and hope I figure it out later. DB says, 2 weeks ago, my 73 Charger lost all gauges and turn signals. What is my first step? Key switch. So in my Demon, my key switch is sticky. So I'll go to crank it, and if you just release the key, it actually doesn't turn all the way back to run. So the engine keeps running, but the accessory doesn't power up. Now in that car, it's an MSD system, so I don't have to worry about it being on crank power or whatever. It stops cranking the starter, but it doesn't go all the way back. My guess is you have a problem with that circuit. I can't remember right offhand what color the accessory circuit is coming out of the key switch. You're going to want to find a wiring diagram for that car. But basically, you don't have the key power, the accessory power that goes to power the circuits in the fuse box. You've got several different power circuits that come off your ignition switch. You've got the crank circuit, of course. You've got ignition 1, that's the blue wire, that's your normal running wire. You've got ignition 2, that's your cranking circuit, that one's brown. There are other wires in there, and I'm drawing a blank on, I think it's, no, it might be black. I'm not sure. You're going to want to check a wiring harness diagram for that car, verify which wire that is, and take a test light or multimeter and check it underneath your steering column at that big disconnect. It's possible you'll even see crispy marks there. That's very common. The 73 Charger I'm restoring here, the toolbox Charger, it had wires burned in that connection, and they had actually cut them and routed them around. Multiple wires. Very interesting stuff. So that's a good place to look. Common problems there. It's definitely key switch, that connector, or you blew every fuse. But I think it's more likely to be one of the first two. You might try wiggling it when it's in run and just see if that stuff comes back. It's worth a shot. My blower motor also doesn't work when that's happening in the Demon. So just saying, you should also probably have no blower motor. Jorge wants to know, are the 70s Demon a Dodge Dart conversion, or did they have a specific line for the Demon? I was looking at a couple of them online, and they said Dart conversion. No. And yes. As far as what line they were produced, I can't tell you. The Demon, I've actually gotten in arguments on groups with people about this. The Demon has a Dart VIN. So people want to say, it's a Dart. It's got a Dart VIN. But it's a Duster body and a Plymouth wheelbase. And all they did is they changed the tail panel and the taillights, and they took the Dart front clip and bolted it onto the Duster. That's how the Demon was made. So you wouldn't call it a conversion. It's a factory. I mean, I guess you could call it a Duster converted to be a Dodge, depending on how you want to phrase that. But yeah, it's kind of a weird gray area. In my eyes, I like to look at things from the perspective of this is the chassis. This is what the car is. And what the car is a Duster with a Dodge front nose bolted onto it. That's something you can do with any A-body, 67 to 76, except the Barracuda. 67 to 9 is special. They are special. Every piece on them is special, except for the cowl, inner framing, whatever. Every body panel, every other body panel is special. But anything else, Valiant, Duster, Dart, the noses are the same. You can bolt on this nose. The door skins are the same, you know. So they could just do that at the factory, and they did. that's how they made that car. So I like to look at it in those terms because I'm just really familiar with that. I have a Barracuda with a dart nose on it. The factory never did that, but you can, right? And the Plymouth Scamp is the exact same thing, but opposite. Plymouth bolted a Plymouth nose onto a Dodge Dart. So I just look at it in terms of that. So to me, the Demon is a Duster with a Dart nose, but it has a Dodge Dart VIN. So if you look at it in those terms, okay, it's a Dart, whatever, because it's L and then a letter and then whatever the code is for fastback. Is it 29? Don't remember. I'm probably wrong. But anyway, that's the best answer I can give you. And Jorge says, my shirt looks good. Thank you. Oh, Bob's back with us for another response on intake and says, I fucked up. It's okay, Bob. We all do that sometimes. Did you know that? I don't want to give Bob a hard time. He's the one that came in the comments and told me I'm an idiot. And I'm an idiot. That's fine. I never said I wasn't an idiot. But he really is very knowledgeable and he knows his shit. But it's okay to make a mistake. It's fine. We all do that. For intakes that fit under hood with no problem, the Holly Street Dominator is best, but the Indy 440-2A or Victor can make more power, but then they have clearance problems. That's what I was saying. So no, I think you had it right because that Holly makes the best power and fits. Yeah. Tim says she's a driver, nothing crazy. Yeah, exactly. So, and again, like Rooster's right. If you want that thing to launch, that's the world Rooster lives in. It's like, it's all big blocks, blown Hemis and wheelies, you know? And from that perspective, a stall like a 3400 is going to do cool stuff. But you said mild cam. So that tells me you're probably something in the upper 400s, lower 500s of lift. You can make that work. I'm sure, look at the cam card, it will tell you, I am sure that cam works well below 3,400 RPM. So I would be going for something, again, you're probably in the 2,200, 2,500 neighborhood on the high end for a car you drive. Excuse me. Jorge says, oh, yeah, ouch. My grandfather passed away in 86. He was driving a 70s Dodge panel van, head-on collision, steering column rammed into his chest. Yeah, exactly. And that sucks. Plus, probably no shoulder belt in that. Rooster says, safety. Drive fast, take chances, and defy death. Yeah, that's Rooster's thing. Yeah, you're kind of defying death every time you get into a classic and drive it on the road with the morons they give driver's licenses today. Anyway. I know I gave a lot of props to the username Turbo Encabulator earlier, and I stand by that, but chrome muffler bearing, not only muffler bearing, but a premium chrome one. Anyway, chrome muffler bearing says, I've been watching official Chrysler Master Tech videos and slideshows from the 60s and 70s on YouTube. It has been extremely helpful with a lot of my old Mopar issues. Yes, I've seen some of them, not a ton, but I've seen some of them, and yeah, they're brilliant. You know, they knew what was going on back then. The service manuals, the books we have access now, they're being reproduced. The factory assembly guides. If you're restoring or assembling one of these cars, check it out. Factory assembly guide. They show you what clip goes on what wire gets taped up with what harness, what goes where, per engine, per body line, per option. Air conditioning harness gets tagged in here, gets wrapped here. There's a wire that goes here. This is different. That is different. It's amazing. A body assembly guide, or maybe it's chassis assembly guide. And I can't remember right now the name of the company that's reproducing those, but they're available online. And yeah, super, super cool stuff. But yeah, I've seen some of those Master Tech videos, and there is a lot of gold there. I really like, it's one of those, like, I just want to relax and listen to something. One of those things I really like, not just Chryslers, but any old-timey technical, like, training video. Maybe some of you have seen that description of how differentials work, and they're using like popsicle sticks to show you the basic concept. It's just so great. Back then, this was kind of all voodoo, and for anyone to understand it, they put it in layman's terms, and then you go, oh, okay. someone that has been doing this for decades now knows how differentials work, but back then things were a little different. And so those guides, man, they really break it down for you. They make it obvious, they make it basic, and they give you what you need to understand the concepts. And so, yeah, I just really love that stuff. Like the last one I was watching was a military video on vehicle maintenance in the field. And they had such amazing tuning tips, a lot that I know, but some things I'd never even thought of, and it's old timey information. A video on lubrication, what it does, what detergent oil does, how, just the differences between splash, old school oiling and pressurized oiling. Like there's just such a wealth of knowledge there. And the old timey voices and accents are fun. So yeah, I get a lot out of stuff like that. Banana says, I installed shoulder belts on my 68, but I don't view it as a lifesaver. No, it's not. It's better than nothing, but it's not. Jorge, yes, you can find a lot of those videos on YouTube. Yep, a lot of them. Those slideshows, you said slideshow. Cool story. I just got the Wi-Fi logo. I hope I'm still coming through. Cool story. Those slides, Tom has a bunch of them, and he has the accompanying records, the audio in those videos. They stitch the slides and the record together. That's what you're listening to. Back in the day, they would play the slides and the record, companion record with it. It's so cool. And yes, lots and lots of them are on YouTube. You can go find them. Timothy Russell says, I went with a cam because she's an air grabber car. I'm limited to stock intake and I don't do headers. Well, okay, I understand. And you're fine. Air grabber, cool. Stock intake, you can get pretty far. I'm kind of thinking you meant to insert the word mild there. Yeah, you don't want to go too crazy. Sounds like you're trying to keep it pretty close to stock with just a little bit extra. And again, if you stayed conservative enough on the cam, you can get that little bit extra, but you got to make sure your timing's right. And yeah, stall. I am curious, do you happen to have the specs handy for the cam you put in there, or a part number or something like that? I'd look it up real fast. I'd be curious to know that. Banana says, the Delta 88 doesn't like to stop or steer, so definitely you can get used to driving them. Feel like I drive a cruise ship every day. It's awesome, even if my wife worries for me. That's funny. I remember driving my manual steering 70 Swinger and going through drive-thrus, and that is when I felt like I was driving a cruise ship, for sure. Bob says, sorry, I've not been contributing tonight. I'm watching, but I'm in the early stages of selling everything. Phone is going nuts. Totally understand. All good, Bob. You don't have to worry on our account. We've got a good few people in here with, things to say, but appreciate you being here with us anyway. And I wish you good luck. Hope you do well in selling. I know we kind of talked about that a week or two ago, so best of luck. I think we're all just a couple of bad times or wanting to retire away from selling our babies. So I totally understand where you're at. Big Wrench says, I met Derek, VGG, Derek Beery, at Sick Week. He said he watched you, and a feller needs to keep doing what he's doing for Mopars. He loves it. You can't be serious. You cannot be serious. Someone asked me last week if I would like to do a video with Derek, and I said, well, yeah, but I'd also like to, what did I say? Something silly. Play drums for Led Zeppelin. I think it's about as likely that I would be on video with Derek as I would be the new drummer for Led Zeppelin. Anyway, if that's true, I'm really excited. First Uncle Tony and now this. Wow. All right. That is awesome. And remember, Jamie is here, therefore we are. Thank you. Oh, Big Wrench says I was trying to remove that Flare comment, mistyped a thingamajigger. That's funny. Okay. I'm on, so to run these now so I can feature the comments on here, as you can see by the little thingy there, I use StreamYard. Blake with Bad Tree showed me StreamYard, and I've been using it ever since. It's cool stuff. Also, I can have other people on here, and I have meant to do that almost since I started. I've had Tom on a couple times. I would like to have other people on here at some point. I think it'd be really cool. Break up the monotony a bit. In fact, Big Wrench, looking your way. But yeah, even if you did remove a comment, I don't know if it would actually remove on here. Who knows? Craig Bowie says, sorry I'm late, but I am playing the DDG drinking game this week with you. Awesome, Craig. Thanks for being here. Late or not, I do appreciate that. Jorge says, so you mean to say Rooster is a Toretto? All I have to say is you don't need physics if you've got family. Yeah, he's in the family. Ross says, it's not factory looking, but I found the best way to avoid wiring gremlins in this area. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you got a head like a potato, Bobby. I really am. Ground everything. Block to frame, cab to block, cab to frame. I'm going to be honest, Ross. I never really seem to have problems with grounds. I've run multiple cars with no firewall ground and everything's fine. But it's, it's not really fine. Anyway, yeah, that's true. Adding extra grounds is not a bad idea. It's a good idea. But I don't necessarily think it's that important if you have a ground strap and it works, and you have the cowl ground and it works, probably fine. And Bob says, spent the last 35 years doing strokers, competition engines, B, RB, Hemi, 500s, 505s, 512s, 540s, 572s, 605s, and dynoing all of them before they left. Now all I want to do is kick ass with 30 over 440s. Purist returns. Nice. That's cool. I'm not a purist. I don't see myself as that, but I like stock stuff. I like warmed over stock stuff. And I'm a poor boy. I started a really poor boy. I am not a professional engine builder. I guess I am because I get paid for it. I have done enough that didn't blow up. But again, what I've done are rebuilds, hone jobs, overhauls, I'll change a cam, I'll breathe on a set of heads, but I'm never that all-out power, super technical. I'm just not that guy, and I am untrained. I'm untrained. I just like to have fun. But my kind of fun is a stock engine, a stock engine with a cam and an intake and maybe a set of headers, That's where my fun is at. I don't belong in a 500 horsepower car. I'll die, So yeah, I have a great time with a warmed over 318 in a truck. That's who I am. Ever since I almost crashed my CUDA and put that motorcycle over, I like stock stuff, and slightly modified stock stuff. There's a lot of fun that can be had there. And when you're driving something like that, you're time traveling. You're actually doing magic just by getting in a car like that. So that's where I find my fun. It's never been in super crazy build engines. Rooster's forgotten a lot more about building performance big blocks than I'll ever know. And that's how I am, and that's what I like. So yeah, I'm kind of right there with you on that aspect of things, But I'll be the first one to tell you, any technical question, ask that guy. I'm just some guy. Rooster says, Jamie loves California drives. Just ask him. But stand back. This could get ugly. There's a lead-in for that story. I'm not too far behind. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll tell a story. I think I mentioned it before. California is not America. It's something different. And I can say that without telling you what my political beliefs are. I don't even want you to know what my political beliefs are. But California, that is just something. And I live in Washington, okay? If you know anything about Washington, you could get an idea what that's like. But California is not America. I said a swear. I was in my 66 Charger, and with my brother, we were on a road trip, like a week-long road trip from here down the coast, back up the coast. I was in my 66 Charger. My brother was in his 68 Dart. And we were in Fort Bragg, California. It's on the coast. There's a beach with a bunch of beach glass, and so we want to stop and check that out. Well, there's some kind of parade going on, and the highway through town was shut down, and there was like a mile of traffic. So we decided, hey, let's turn around and go back to that beach approach we saw. So my brother pulls out into the road to turn around, and his car dies. He's in an A body. I'm in my B body Charger, and I know I'm not going to make that. So I swung wide into the shoulder, and I was starting to point this way. His car died in the middle of the road. So I stopped to wait for it to restart. And a car pulled up and blocked me. And then another car pulled up and blocked me. And I'm honking, and I'm waving my arms, and I'm pointing, and I'm signaling. Car pulls up and blocks me. Like, do they not see two crappy old cars together? They're trying to turn around. He's trying to turn around, but the other car's broken. No, they don't. A city bus and an ambulance blocked me into the shoulder. And I was a little upset. So I yelled some obscenities. This was when my Charger still had a 383. And I just stomped it. And I'm in the shoulder, and I see we're like half a block from an intersection, and the intersection's open. There's a stop sign. So I just gun it. Car's doing this. And I go around all these people. I rev at every single one of them. I go down to that intersection. I flip a bitch, and I floor it the other direction because my brother finally got his car going. Not one of my finer moments, obviously. You know, the grumpy side got the best of me, but it was ridiculous. So we turn around, pull off, and go to the beach. And we're hanging out at the beach for like half hour, 45 minutes, you know, something like that. My friend that was with us had to get home. Actually, he had to get to work in Olympia, so we really had to go. So we leave the beach early, and we go to the cars. And when I get to my car, there are a couple officers of the law standing there, and they say, "Is this your car?" And I said, "Yes." Now, luckily, I had my almost newborn daughter on my shoulder. Maybe here. Don't remember. I was carrying a baby. She was 5 months old. And I'm just me, you know, t-shirt, just look like a normal dude with a beard. And I'm holding a baby. So I look non-threatening. And they said, "Is this your car? I heard you called an ambulance driver a motherfucker." And I said, "No, I didn't. I did say that, but I wasn't talking to him directly. I was upset because all these cars blocked me in the shoulder." And he said, "Really? Because that ambulance driver is a friend of mine. I've known him for years, and he wouldn't lie." And I said, "No, I did not say it to him. I said it near him." And the officer said, "Because that's assault in the state of California. You can't say that." I said, "Oh, I had no idea. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to offend anybody." And I can't remember what he said. I didn't get arrested. Thankfully, I was holding a baby. But he gave me essentially, "Get out of my town." So I got out of his town. California is not America. Because if there's no free speech, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. When me, can almost get arrested for just saying words. Good times. That's that. Big Wrench peaced out. Probably didn't even catch my offer to be on a live. Oh, wait. I'm back. I forgot my hat. That's a creepy cat. And yes, for real, Derek said that. Oh my God. If he's subscribed, he's got his subscriptions hidden. And that's all I'll say. But cool. Hi, Derek. No, I don't think he's watching this. I've mentioned before the live streams. I keep them all up. They're all up. If you want to go back and listen to them as a podcast, I don't know why you'd want to listen to me talk for 2 hours, but you people do it every Sunday. So there you go. I actually, and I'm not ashamed to say this, I go back and listen to them myself, but mostly to hear the dumb stuff that I said. Anyway, to get my story straight for next time, But that's really cool. Uncle Tony's watching. Derek's watching. Man, hit the big time. Now you up in the big leagues. HR. Oh, anybody replaced wiper spindles for A-bodies? Not the spindles, but the seals. I've done the seals, which is kind of the same thing. Dan Tupper says, I was an AV kid eons ago. Linking the record slideshow could be linking the record and the slideshow could be a real pain. The record has beep noises that tell you when to change the slide. So I think you just time that. Ross says, you can always use a Borgeson steering shaft to avoid kebabbing yourself. Oh, there are a lot of things you can do. And again, anything 67 up should have a collapsible shaft. It was mandated. But who's going to do that? Like, I'm just saying, like, that's a lot of work. More money to spend. And like, if it's just a driver and you just want to enjoy it, why would you do that? It's just something to be aware of. Even the later collapsible shaft, like that story, I think it was Jorge. Was it Jorge? Whoever had the story about their dad dying in a van. Crap. Now I've lost it. It was back a while. Anyway, that van should have had a collapsible steering shaft if it was a 70s van. And yet. So, yeah, it's not 100%. Michael Nalt says, at one time, service manuals were hardcover and covered every nut and bolt on the car. No one knew way back that these cars would make it in the future, hence the rarity today. Yes, absolutely. And the 60s service manuals are great. But you know what's really great? 50s service manuals. Those things, oh my God, the detail. They tell you how to rebuild every component in that car. They tell you how to fix the switches. They tell you, it's so cool. I have one from my 55 New Yorker and another one from my 55 Pause, I think I still have that. And yeah, just the level of detail. They wanted you to be able to fix every little part of that car. And that's really cool. Nowadays, they barely want you to be able to check the oil. They want you to go to a dealer. Different time. Timothy Russell says, I believe it's a purple shaft Mopar. I don't have the exact part number. I mean, I'm sure there are bigger purple shafts. That was a weird one. But most of them tend to be on the mild side of things. So, yeah, interesting. Again, if you care to, try what I was saying, searching around with your idle timing. Advance it a little bit and see if the idle comes up. If it does, hop in the car, drop it in gear, see if it doesn't stall. And again, make sure your idle fueling is working. Your idle screws probably need to be somewhere between 1.5 to 2.5 turns out from fully seated. Gently fully seated. Don't break them off in there. And if you can't tune your idle with the screws, you have a problem. And that's when you need to look into either drilling throttle bores with extra holes or that bypass hose thing Uncle Tony did a video about. There are ways to get around that, but make sure your idle tuning is right and search around with your timing a little bit. If you find there's a spot where you can put your distributor where all of a sudden, hey, what do you know? It idles in gear. You probably need to recurve that. You might get a dial back timing light, figure out how much timing curve you have in that distributor. There are a lot of steps to that. And that's something I do all the time. So to me, it's just like, no problem. But I can try and explain it to you, but no guarantees is what I'm trying to say. So, hey guys, we've got about 10 minutes left. If you got any last minute, what's the word I'm looking for? Insults, I guess. Insults. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Or questions or anything like that, go ahead and ask them. And we'll try and get everybody out of here on time. But I do see 49 of you are still out there, so I really appreciate that. Thanks for sticking with us here. And I just can't say enough how much I enjoy these live streams. I look forward to it all week. It's just fun. It's fun. And it's a good excuse to drink. Oh, it was Walter G that asked, our resident diecast guy, that asked about me doing a video with Derek. Yes, I'd love that, but it seems just as likely that I'd play the drums with Led Zeppelin. Rooster says, phone, Toretto is a sissy. family. That's all I got. Jorge, what did you figure out with the weird lifter wear? Coating on metal surface? Metal chipping at the edges? I really didn't. I mean, I've gotten a lot of comments. Some people say, yeah, that looks like a metallurgy problem. Other people say, that's not a metallurgy problem. That's a machining problem. Your taper's wrong. Your crown is wrong. Other people say they want to ask if I did everything else right, which like I tried to explain in both of those videos. High zinc break-in oil, high RPM. I described what to do and why. I used cam lube on the lifter faces and on the lobes and oil on the sides. I checked every one of them for spinning. I checked every lifter for a crown because I know. Anyway, yeah. Personally, just looking at those lifters disintegrating the way they are, to me, that says shitty metal or a hardness mismatch between the two parts. I have no way of verifying that. I'm not a metallurgist. I'm not a machinist. I'm not a super smart dude. I'm just some guy. So I don't have an answer. I wish I did. But I can tell you, person after person after person has said, yeah, that's what you get for buying from Stomp Cams. So don't do that. So, yeah. I'm so glad somebody caught that reference. Zappa's the best at what he did. He was truly gifted and brilliant. Such a cool guy and a great player. And I had the option. God damn. I had the good luck to see Dweezil Zappa in concert. Zappa plays Zappa, and it was really good. Really, really good. And he had members of the original band, and he's a fantastic player in his own right. Yeah, so cool. I'm a Zappa fan for sure. I can't say Zappa's like a go-to for me. I don't listen to it a whole lot, but sometimes I just think I might be moving to Montana soon. So, yeah. Mopar and Zappa, we could hang out. Yes, we could. Few states away, unfortunately, but yeah, good stuff. Jorge says, you're not kidding. First month of having the Viper. You had a Viper? No ABS traction control. Yeah. I sideswiped a curb, bent both passenger rims, and scuffed muffler cover. $4,300 in repairs. Yeah. That's why I don't have a Viper. That and they're expensive. I could, if a Viper was my dream car, instead of the Charger, I could have bought a Viper. I had a Cobra replica, which is kind of like a Viper in many regards. Smaller, but similar nightmare, less horsepower. Vipers are cool. Someday I'll have one, but I want one with a roof. But anyway, yeah, same thing. I mean, yeah, okay. In my younger life, 10 years ago almost, is when I flipped the garbage can CUDA around backwards and almost crashed into a tractor trailer. And after that, I decided I didn't belong in horsepower. Now, I know how to handle it to a point, and I am at least responsible enough that you probably won't see me on the evening news with the demon upside down in a ditch. Probably. But anyway, you just don't need 500 horsepower to have fun. And on the street, you just don't. So yeah, I probably don't belong in a Viper either. But someday, you know, when I'm fucking stupid YouTube rich or whatever. That was a bad word. All Praise says, having been born and raised in California, I can testify Jamie's correct. This state is a mess. I hope to be able to sell my house and move next year. Tyler says it's probably worse than the last time you were there. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And again, there's nothing else I need to say. Big Ranch says, I would love to accept that offer. All right, cool. Well, careful what you wish for. Luke Tichenel says, we did some work to the 4x4 Javelin and it got out to the mud bugs this weekend. I saw that. That was so cool. Was it your kid driving? Was that what I gleaned from that? Super cool. The kid's faces does it for us. Yeah, Cool. It's awesome. Jorge says, new shirt idea. My purple shaft is bigger than yours. Jorge also says, notice highest viewers was at 51. Nice. Yes, I did saw that. I did see that. I think, so the thing is, again, now I'm in StreamYard, which is not directly in YouTube. So the number, there's like a lag. In reviewing the footage from last week, we actually had a peak of either 53 or 54, which is definitely the most of all time. So again, thank you guys very much. I see people are starting to duck out because it is almost 8, and that's fine. I'll just get through these last comments here, and I'll get the heck out of here. Oh, Jorge says that was an 01 Viper GTS. Nice. Cool. Oh, that's why you said phone. That makes sense. Rich Jordan says questions, queries, posers. Oh, yeah. Toretto's a coward. Nice. Can't wait. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all big blocks and blowers over at Rooster's place. I'm a little jealous. Yeah. I'm over here just with one carburetor. Pathetic. Ross says, requests for exit Muzak. All right, I'll try and think of something real quick here. Timothy says, thank you. I'll try that and report back. Have a great week. You too, Timothy. Thanks. Appreciate you being here. Banana's heading out. Thanks for your time and for doing this every Sunday. So many knowledgeable folks in the comments. Yes, it's awesome. I never leave here without learning something. Me too. It's great. I really appreciate it. It's like, and obviously I have some knowledge and I'm here to share that. I'm mostly just here to have fun. But, I'm sharing what I have. All of us have something. Okay. And one of my strengths in life, and I'm very proud of this, is being able to recognize who has the information I need and listen to them. Because it's not always me. It's not usually me. I know a lot, but my strength is learning. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm here to do. Even in doing this and sharing the knowledge I do have, I'm learning all the time. I'm reading every comment. I'm, taking every question. It's a thinking exercise. That's what it is. I got a hungry brain. Damn it. And I'm trying to fill it. So yeah, same thing. But thanks for being here, Banana. I really appreciate that as well. I learned a bunch of things about my own 68 without even opening the hood. And I think it's macadamia nut. And I really like that Big Wrench's comment was actually white chocolate Macedonian. Yeah, it's white chocolate Macedonian for me. That's true. I really like that one. But I'm good with chocolate chip, when the white chocolate Macedonian isn't available. Jorge says, yeah. I mentioned Rooster being a Toretto meant Rooster works on big strokers, high horsepower, lifting the front end off the ground. See, Rooster, it was supposed to be a compliment. Yeah. Rooster says, Zappa, I got it from the toilet seat. Cruise Slut was my favorite. Sure, I'll buy you a pizza. She was the girl stuck to the seat on 503. Muffin Man is one of my favorites. That's great. Moving to Montana soon. Yippee, yayo, kaye. I could never hope to play Zappa because he's just so damn good. There's just so much happening. Is it Willie the Pimp? Is that what that's called? Bobby. Andy Devine. Damn it. It was mixing things up. Bobby, I'm sorry. You got a head like a potato. Andy Devine. Oh, Andy. That's a good one. There's just so much. There's just so much. Jorge says, with roof, blue with red interior. Interesting. Really nice. I'll send you a picture. Bought it in 2013 for 36 grand from my best friend. Nice. Cool. She's plucked me. Urkos60 says, hey, you're up against Uncle Tony's Sunday Night Live. Yeah, I know. It was a random thing when I first started doing this. I thought, well, Sunday just seems like a good day. I'm not doing anything. I'm always busy on Saturdays. I'm always busy on Fridays. Everybody's busy. I'll just do Sunday. Sunday seems like a good day to live stream. And I think the reason I thought that is because Uncle Tony live streams on Sundays. So yeah, he starts at 5 p.m. my time. I start at 6 p.m. So there's some overlap there. It's not intentional, but I think it also is, I guess. We actually have people here who have jumped ship from Uncle Tony. So It is what it is. But yeah, I know we end up overlapping, and it's a little unfortunate. The Mopar guys have to choose, and frankly, I'm small potatoes. They're probably going to pick Uncle Tony. But here, their questions will get answered, at least until we have 100 people. And Dan is out of here because he knows what time it is. So good night, Dan, and thanks for being here as always. I'm sure we'll be talking soon. My sister wants to know if I've ever tried anything with Whitewood Brewing Company. No, I didn't know they existed. Timothy says California is the Walmart of America. It's a shit show. Just try going to a Walmart in California, man. Luke Tichenel says, no, my wife and I ran it. She ran it first in case she broke it. Okay, I misunderstood what you posted. But yeah, I saw you were out there doing it. Awesome. So cool. HR is out and loved the last episode. Thank you for being here. I am about to get out of here, folks. So please don't ask me any questions. I'm going to try and get through here, and I might play a quick song. Urcost60 also says, great channel. I was bummed out by your camel lifter failure. Starting up my rebuilt 67 Corvair motor soon. Fingers crossed. I'll keep them crossed for you. Hopefully in the Corvair, it's not the same pony show, but we'll see. See you, Jorge. Thanks for being here. And Rich, appreciate you guys. Thank you. Same to you guys. Ross says, theme to Rawhide. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay. Theme from Rawhide. Thank you. Shopcat says, hey, Jamie, I damn near almost put the cat to sleep last weekend, but just can't seem to do it. Too many awesome supporters. I'll be slowing down, though. Believe me when I tell you, I totally understand it. I really do. Sometimes it's just like, why am I doing all this work? You know, and like this weekend, I only managed to get one video done because too much going on. I need to spend more time with my family and be less of an idiot. So just the one video this week, but I can't see stopping. I said when I started the channel, I'd do it until I got bored, and I haven't gotten bored yet, you know, and there's a lot more I want to do. So I'm going to keep at it, and I hope you do too. But again, like, if anyone understands, I do. Trust me, I really do. Joel says it looks like a Telefunken U47. Shopcat says Uncle Tony doesn't respond to many comments, though. That's what I just said. He's never responded to mine, but he did mention me, so we'll count that as a win. Thanks, Cave Dave. And Rooster says it's time for me to fly. So with that, what key is Rawhide in? Rattling Rawhide. I don't know. I've never actually played it. Totally changed my mind. I'm not going to do that. I've never yet played you guys any of my songs. Let's see if I can think of one. Nope, I got nothing. All my songs are sad. All right. I'll leave you with a sad one anyway. I went down to the river one day. 1,000 voices called my way. Please don't let it all end this way. I went down to the river one day. And all my friends were traveling men. Away they go and come around again. I'd sell my soul to be it all like them. All my friends were traveling men. And in my dreams I saw moving clips of burning bridges and sinking ships. The fire there burned a full eclipse. The fire in my belly and in my lips. went down to the river one day. 1,000 voices called my way. Said, please don't let it all end this way. I went down to the river one day. I went down to the river one day. Yeah, all my songs are sad. And on that terrible disappointment, it's time to get out of here. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. I gave that song away years ago. You know that. Let's see Uncle Toonie do that. See you guys. Thanks for being here, and I will see you next week. That song and others are on my SoundCloud. Look up Jamie Noise. You'll find it. Take it easy. Adios.